It is amazing to be looking out at an amazing crowd of Maine Democrats. I need to thank you for your friendship, for your leadership, for being a mentor to me over the past 10 years as we worked together to defend core democratic values while balancing difficult budgets in Augusta. Your leadership in Lewiston and in Augusta is unparalleled. Thank you so much, Peggy. And President Alfon for your leadership for Democrats over the past 2 years, and congratulations on such an incredible weekend in Bangor. And thank you to Congresswoman Pingree for her tireless progressive leadership in Washington, and for reminding us last night that being a woman is not a pre-existing condition. Congressman Mike Michaud, you have led us so well in Washington, and I know you will make us proud in the Blaine House. It's amazing to me to be among friends who understand what we are fighting for, and who, like me, are optimistic about the future of our state, who are optimistic about our Maine, and what we have to offer the nation and the world. Yeah. I am State Senator Emily Cain. Today, I stand before you to ask for your support and your vote in the Democratic primary for Congress on June 10th. I am running for Congress because I believe Maine people need leaders and problem solvers in Washington who will stand up to create economic opportunity for everyone. For the past 10 years, I've worked in the legislature, and in my regular job, I've worked at the University of Maine, helping students get a good education and preparing them for economic success. The University of Maine offered a college education that my family could afford, and opened doors to opportunities for me that I never knew existed. Since graduation there, I've worked there to help more Maine students have that very same opportunity. The University of Maine is also where I met my husband, a Bangor boy, Danny Williams. Danny and I got married in the summer of 2004, in the middle of my first campaign for the legislature. 10 years later, this summer, we will celebrate our 10th anniversary. And I'm so grateful to have such an amazing friend and partner standing by my side every single day. Where we both work and have made our homes, a community that I've represented in the Maine legislature for the past decade. I wasn't fortunate enough to be born in Maine, but when my family got here, we found home. Like so many Maine families, my parents worked so hard to make ends meet. My father, he works in the shoe business. They're here, my parents are here. My father works in the shoe business, and my mother, who you saw in the video, is a sign language interpreter. We moved several times when I was a kid, as my parents worked to find economic security for our family and opportunity for my sisters and me. And yes, it's true, I'm the oldest of 3 sisters, and that is great practice for politics. You learn to make nice, you learn how to pick your battles and make strategic alliances. In Augusta, as a state legislator and Democratic leader, I fought hard to strengthen Maine's middle class because my family worked so hard to stay in it. Every Maine family deserves a chance to succeed. That's why I have voted time and again to increase the minimum wage. It's why I've supported increasing access to education for all Mainers, from our young children in Head Start to job training, and making college more affordable for Maine families. It's why I've supported investments in research and development that help small businesses grow, and it's why I have been such a strong ally of organized labor. And it's why, as Democratic leader, I held the line and brought people together to reject Governor LePage's harmful right-to-work agenda. Of Maine Professional Staff Association, I'm proud to be a union member running for Congress. It's an honor to have the endorsement of the working men and women of IBEW Local 104 and countless union members across this great district. During my time in Augusta, it has been a privilege to work alongside and with and on behalf of so many of you in this room. When Governor Paul LePage and the Tea Party won majorities in Augusta in 2010 and threatened to take us backwards, many of us in this room came together. As Democratic leader, I was proud to stand with you time and time again on women's rights, on workers' rights, on the environment for our students and our seniors, each and every time to stand up to Governor LePage. And I was especially proud to work with all of you when we put the ultimate check on Governor LePage and re-elected Democrats to the majority in the House and the Senate. We stood together and refused to allow politicians to get in between a woman and her doctor, because Maine women have a right to make their own health care decisions every time. And it's humbling to have earned the endorsement of Emily's List, of NARAD, and of Planned Parenthood just yesterday in this Democratic primary because of my unwavering support for Maine women. Women, don't turn to politicians to ask for advice on birth control, cancer treatment or screenings, and certainly not mammograms, and politicians have no business being involved in a woman's personal medical decisions about her pregnancy, period. People in our state. Together, under the leadership of strong Democrats like former House Speaker Hannah Pingree, former Senate President Libby Mitchell, and with our own candidate, our dynamic candidate for the United States Senate, Shenna Bellows, strong allies like Equality Maine, we led the fight for marriage equality at the State House, casting my vote in support of giving same-sex couples the long overdue freedom to marry the person that they love is one of my proudest moments in the state legislature. That vote was an easy choice and the right thing to do. And when the history books are written, the chapter on marriage equality will stand out as a proud moment for our state. And I'm honored in this campaign to have earned the endorsement of Equality Maine and the Human Rights Campaign for my unwavering support and advocacy for equality. I'm proud to have been a part of a coalition of lawmakers who stood up to out-of-state chemical companies to keep harmful toxic chemicals out of children's toys. We stood strong to take action on climate change, keep harmful pesticides out of our water and air, and promote renewable energy. Together, so many of us pushed for common sense protections for our children, for our air and our water, the natural resources that are vital to Maine's economy, and to make critical investments in conservation so that Maine's health and beauty will be around and thrive for generations to come. And I'm proud to have earned the endorsement of the League of Conservation Voters in this race. After 4 long years of bullying, of harmful policies, and of embarrassing statements, it is time for a new governor. We are all here this weekend and today to rally around Congressman Mike Michaud for governor. We know his plans to build on the best of Maine stand in stark contrast to the current governor. His support for Maine families, Maine workers, Maine seniors, it's unwavering. He has a proven track record of working across the aisle to solve problems and get results. And there is no one in Congress who has done more to support the men and women who serve this country in the armed forces. Mike is a true champion of American veterans. Mike's uncommon leadership is the change the Blaine House needs. And one thing is clear. Mike Michaud leaves behind a big pair of New Balance sneakers. Tea Party politicians in Congress have abandoned families in Maine and across the nation. They are more interested in scoring political points and drawing partisan battle lines than building opportunity for the people they serve. It's easy to talk about standing up for the middle class and the poor at a press conference, but it's much harder to deliver results. Delivering results depends on building bridges across party lines and finding common ground. Delivering results is something Republicans in Washington do not know anything about. If you are going to deliver results, you cannot walk away from the table. You cannot throw insults when you do not get what you want. In today's political environment, being a fighter is simply not enough. We need leaders who can bring people together and who can bring the voice of Maine people to the table and stay there until they get the job done. Because right now, Maine's middle class is struggling, and the personality politics and dysfunction in Congress are making things worse. When politicians dig in their heels and refuse to work together, the minimum wage doesn't get raised. Women continue to earn less for the same job. Families can't see a doctor when they get sick. A college education becomes more expensive. And the opportunity for parents to build a better life for their kids becomes harder to find. I'm running for Congress because I believe we can and we must solve these problems.
And we need you!
State senator and as a member of Congress, my job is very straightforward. Be a voice for Maine people who too often go unheard. Give them more opportunity and get our economy moving. And whether you're a single mother raising your children, going to work and going to school, a mill worker whose job gets sent overseas, a child who hides in the shadows to escape the constant fear of domestic violence, a grandparent whose Social Security might cover food or might cover medicine, but doesn't cover both, or a gay couple who simply wants to stand before their family and make the same lifelong commitment to each other that I made to my husband 10 years ago. I promise that every day that I'm in Congress, just like every day that I've been in the legislature, that I will be your voice at the table. And we need to have a voice at the table. Because when Democrats walk away, Maine families get hurt. To me, solving problems and casting votes, it's not just about issues. It's about people. When I vote to expand Medicaid, I'm voting for my constituent named Tiffany, who, because Governor LePage and Republicans refused to expand health care, has had to leave school and cobble together resources to get the prescription drugs she needs to manage diabetes and mental illness. When I vote to invest in Maine's economy, I'm voting for the unemployed across our state, and in my Senate district, including the 200 workers at the Lincoln Mill who lost their jobs just before Christmas, and for the father who raised his hand at the meeting about the layoffs to ask if the temporary health coverage he would get after losing his job would expire before his young son could see a much-needed specialist. And when I vote against discrimination, I'm voting for Nicole Maines and her family. Nicole is the brave young girl from Orono who faced discrimination at school over a bathroom, which bathroom she could use as a transgender person, when all she wanted to do was a chance to learn in school, like her friends. And when I vote to protect Social Security and Medicare, I'm voting for the thousands of seniors across our state who deserve to retire with dignity and live in Maine for the rest of their lives. By working together and giving Maine people a voice at the table, there is no limit to what we can accomplish. We need leaders who will find ways to move our country forward. Leaders who stay at the table to protect Maine families even when things get tough. Partisan differences are no excuse for gridlock. Not when Maine families are struggling to pay for food for gas, for medicine. It's no excuse to hold up health care or jobs. And it's no excuse for failed leadership. In Augusta, I've sought collaboration, even at the toughest of times. As a result, even when Democrats did not hold the majority, we stopped the governor and Republicans from gutting health care for 28,000 people. Because we stayed at the table, we were able to stop the governor from eliminating the Drugs for the Elderly program. Because we stayed at the table, we were able to stop the governor from gutting the funding for family planning. And because we stayed at the table, we were able to put more money into classrooms to protect property taxpayers and support students. My record is clear. I have never, and I will never waver on a woman's right to make her own healthcare decisions. I have always, and I will always, stand up for equality for all people. I have always, and I will always value Maine's natural resources. And I will vote to preserve and protect them in Congress. I have always stood, and I will always stand to support working families and grow our economy, and I promise you in Congress that that is what I will do. Every single day, I will be focused on being your voice at the table, on creating opportunity for all Maine people, and for getting Maine's economy moving. There is so much at stake for the people of Maine in the 2nd Congressional District. We must keep this seat blue. With Congressman Michaud headed straight to the Blaine House, Republicans in Maine and Washington think they have a shot at the 2nd CD.
No.
Let's prove them wrong. Let's show them what happens when Democrats come together. Maine family has a voice at the table. I am honored to ask for your support and your vote on June 10th. Thank you so much.